This is the meeting of the Site Plan Review Committee. It is August 19th, and we are meeting both in person and with remote participation. So with that, we'll just take attendance. Meredith, Health? I'm John. I'm here from Conservation, sitting in as chair for George Meservey today.
Elizabeth Jenkins, Planning and Community Development.
Calvin Sutton, DPW, and I'll be representing Water today as well.
I'm Davis Walters, Building Commissioner.
Okay, and Karen's here taking our minutes. Thank you, Karen. And so with that, we have a quorum, and we have one item on the agenda today. Informal review for 41 Main Street LLC, located at 45 Main Street. Proposed 30 by 14 and a half foot deck for a proposed restaurant. And I see two people familiar with our process, but I'll welcome everyone in. And this is an informal review, and I think you guys know our process, and we have someone online, should we?
Yeah, Raul is online. Raul Lizardo Rivera from Cape Engineering, and I'm Ben Zender here on behalf of the applicant. With me is Todd Thayer, one of the principals of the applicant. I can start, Raul, if you don't mind.
Sure.
This is site plan review for property at 41 Main. As you're probably familiar with it, it has two units, left and right units. The right-hand unit's already being utilized for retail. Left-hand unit is going to be converted to a restaurant use. That's going to require some relief from the Zoning Board of Appeals because it's over 2,500. It may not be over 2,500 square feet, depending how they calculate the floor area. But also, there's a dimensional nonconformity on the southwest side of the property. And we're proposing to install a patio deck area for dining that's going to intensify the non-conforming nature of that structure in the setback, so that requires relief from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we've already applied for that. So Raul can explain to you the site plan, and then hopefully we can get some great feedback from you and move ahead with the zoning application. So, Raul?
Yes, so for the record, Raul Lizardi from Cape Islands Engineering, representing the applicant along with Attorney Ben. So yeah, as Ben mentioned, this is a property, and if you don't mind, I would like to share my screen.
Please go ahead.
So yeah, this is a property with address of 41 Main Street, but there's actually three different buildings. There's two buildings facing Main Street, and then one garage on the back. The two buildings facing Main Street have 5 different addresses. But the one address has been mentioned is the brick building that has 2 different addresses, 43 and 45 Main Street. The uses are split down the middle, and this is the use that is being converted from retail space to a restaurant. In addition to that change in use, the applicant and owner is proposing to construct this 30 by 14.5 deck along the side of the building. This area along the side of the building used to be a driveway. It was completely paved. Portion of that driveway has been removed during the installation of the grease tank in anticipation for this tank and the connection for the town sewer. So this entire building is now fully connected to town sewer. The project does not change any of the utilities on the site. All of the existing water services are acceptable for the uses. Electric service is sufficient for the site. Gas service is provided. And as I mentioned, sewer is already connected. There is an existing 636 square feet of pavement that remains from the former driveway that used to be on the south side of this building. That pavement is proposed to be removed, and the area is going to be lumen seeded. So yeah, as mentioned by Attorney Zender, this project requires site plan review because it is going for a special permit under 164-6.1B. And according to 164-10.1B2A, any project that requires site plan review requires to have a that special permit requires to have a site plan review. So that's what the project is all about. In terms of stormwater, there is no changes to runoff patterns on the property. There is, if I go back to the overall plan, this whole site was dug out, probably as part of some sands and gravel excavations and mining. The whole site drains to a low point at the site There is a catch basin. I did measure down into the catch basin. It's a leaching catch basin, 20 foot deep. And last time I was on site, there was some standing water following a rain event. And there's some water that ponds in some areas, but the water dissipates fairly quickly. So there's no changes in patterns to runoff or stormwater. There's actually some slight reduction by the elimination of 600 plus square feet of imperviousness. In terms of what the site looked like, the application for this site plan review included these photographs. This is what the site looks today. This is the area where the proposed deck is going to be constructed. There is no proposed occupation of the town sidewalks. All of the work can be done within the property without interfering with the sidewalk. There is these renderings that were included in the application. This is kind of like what the anticipation is for this project. The inside of that half of the building is going to be the restaurant. The outside is going to be this deck with a pergola and some solid guard railings along the sides of the sidewalk. So that's essentially the project before you. With that, I'll open it for any questions.
Thank you, Raul. That's a very thorough presentation. We, I think, all have written materials in front of us. So this is being an informal review. We'll simply go around the room to the respective departments and try to give you comments on the application. I'll start with Davis, if I could. Building?
Sure. Thank you. I just have some general questions, not to suggest that they relate to any potential zoning or building code issues. So the grease tank is new. I don't know what, if any, are the required setbacks for footings for the deck to the grease tank itself, but I'd be concerned that we're awfully close one way or the other. Does anybody have any details about that?
I can provide some feedback. So similar to when septic systems are installed near footings, what is typically required is that the sonotube gets set to an elevation that meets or is deeper than the bottom of the septic tank. That way that pressure from the bearing of these sonotubes is not exerted against the sidewalls of the grease trap.
Okay, sounds reasonable. With the elimination of the pavement, I know that we don't have any official parking concerns anymore based on recent changes to the code, but is traffic flow for parking considered in the existing paved drive behind the buildings? Is that going to be part of a parking offered to patrons?
So at the moment, we're not proposing parking at that back section of the property. It's not an accessible route from behind the building because that's at basement level. And there is really no accessible route from there up to the uses out by Main Street. There is turning movement back there, but it's not proposed for parking, at least not for now.
All right, very good. Last question, what is the anticipated use of the newly proposed deck space itself? It was not shown as opposed to table and bar layouts on the plan provided.
So right, the anticipation is that some of the tables and chairs from inside the restaurant can be moved to the outside when weather allows it for serving on the outside.
Okay, so that leads me to my last question, and that is that I see the rendering of the pergola, which is pervious, as is the deck, but is there any notion anticipated for covering that, whether seasonally or permanently, to provide roofed coverage for diners?
Not right now. At the moment, the idea is that it's going to be an open pergola, not really providing shelter against rain.
Okay, just keep in mind that will potentially change the square footage of that use. So just want to see that coming. If it's a possibility, somebody please let me know along the way.
Davis, can I add something?
Sure.
So I think some of this is the tenant's gonna weigh in on what kind of the formal look is. They know in the health that they have to have some sort of covering, so they thought about umbrellas or other types of uses, but we brought it up to them, and it's just undefined right now.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for that, Todd. I just want to just keep that in mind. And it sounds as though, as of now, that whatever tables are shown in the restaurant itself on the plan, as you say, Raul, will be taken outside. But what seems to me would be a natural progression if the business moves along over time is that additional tables might be added, and, you know, that if the deck's not covered, then the use is weather-driven, and that can be not good for business. So I just kind of see that as a potential natural progression. So that's just a comment I wanted to make.
If I could jump out of that,
Yeah.
if I could, through the chair.
Please.
I think we're cognizant of the deck area as being included in commercial use for the purposes of determining whether zoning relief is required. So, you know, there may be some other issues that come up, building issues and other occupancy issues come up if it's covered, but I think we're anticipating that would be considered, even though the zoning code counts building for
Right.
that. I know, but we're still considering that as part of our number in order to be conservative in terms of our presentation of the Board of Appeals.
Of course. Then I'll say, the fact that there's a separate exit off of the deck, sort of returning to building code issues for egress, means that I think you're okay to hold that under consideration. I just want to have health and fire take that into consideration, so.
And also alcohol. I mean, I think that's probably going to end up being a service area.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why we have some security at the front there and an entryway as well.
Right, okay. All right, that's all for my comments, thank you.
Thank you, Davis. Calvin from DPW?
How you doing? You know, for us, it doesn't show an increase in impervious surface, so there isn't any stormwater concerns unless you do end up putting a roof on it and you had gutters or something that would need to go into dry wells. The other thing would be, it does appear that the deck would be covering the inspection port of the sewer connection. Something that you would want to maintain access to. So you have your inspection port and your backwater check valve right there. It looks like it's on the edge of the deck. Just be aware of that. If the deck ends up moving slightly, it looks like it's right on the edge. So I think there would be a way to keep that accessible. That for water, if it's a change of use in a building, we do want to see a cross-connection survey for a change of use. So if you want to reach out to the water department, we can schedule a survey, go over your cross-connection. And that's really it for us.
And can I just ask a question, Calvin? That's just done by engaging your department directly?
Yeah, we do that.
Water.
Fire department, water department, we have a surveyor that can come out. Just look at all your water sources and make sure there's no hazards.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're in front of Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners this afternoon as well. So,
Okay.
Yes, we are. And if I could just touch back, so yes, we did review with the owner and the developer for the deck regarding access to this inspection ports and the access covers and all that stuff for the sewer system. So they are aware that they have to provide for trap doors in the decking for this deck.
Great.
Thank you. Calvin, can I ask you if there's any stormwater comments after hearing Raul's kind of summation? Sounds like it's contained on site, given the depressed nature of the center of it.
No, it seems like it's all contained on site, and there's a net decrease in impervious area now that they've taken up that asphalt on the side. My only comment was if the roof structure changes and they need to install gutters, they'd have to go into a dry well.
All right, thank you. Elizabeth from Planning?
Thanks.
Any comments?
Not too much to add. Obviously, you've already have an application into zoning board of appeals for the pre-existing non-conforming. You will need to go to architectural review committee for the deck pergola and the new entry into the building. And I know this is an evolving site and an evolving project, but I think just having a strategy in terms of addressing parking on the site, should you get questions, the zoning board of appeals would be good.
Just for your information, I believe that the tenant is going to be handling architectural review and liquor. So you know, they the signage there as well as that facade look and everything else. I think they're going to be handling that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Todd. That's so, we're doing that. The only thing that's seems a little out of order for me here is typically we try to get to architectural review and get their comments before we go to zoning.
Yeah.
But here,
Advisory to zoning.
usually, but here we're talking about a pergola and a deck and then signage to be brought in by the tenants. We're hoping the zoning board will feel comfortable reviewing this and let that come AR come later.
Yep, we can, I think, discuss that with ARC and zoning
Okay.
board and let them know that that's the.
Okay, thanks.
I'm sorry, did you mention signage as part of the ARC review?
Well, I'm not sure we're sure what the signage is at this point, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
just with the deck, that may prompt the need for lighting, and so we just want to put that little reminder in there.
Okay, thanks, Davis.
And with my Conservation Department hat on, I have no comments, so I'll continue across the table to Meredith from Health.
Yes, so it sounds like the property's on sewer, so luckily I don't have to talk about septic today. If it is an increase in flow, it sounds like that will be addressed at the Board of Water and Sewer meeting later.
Later today.
Okay, perfect. So we do have an outdoor dining application that has to go before the Board of Health. I do have a copy printed out with me, as well as our policy for outdoor cafes that you guys can take a look at. Really, the Board of Health just wants to make sure that any seating is a minimum of 10 feet from a parking lot and the sidewalk, and that the seating is a minimum of 50 feet setback from the dumpster. I didn't see a location of a dumpster on the site plan. I could have missed it, but it's just things to take into consideration. So yeah, I would just put that on. And we have spoken to the people who are planning to open up the restaurants. They're kind of aware of that as well.
Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah, and through the chair, if I could probably address something. So yeah, there is a dumpster, but it's on the back of the property at the lower level. So it would not be anywhere within 10 feet of the deck or anywhere within the restaurant, the 10 feet of the restaurants,
Okay, the dumpster is 50 feet, but perfect, even better.
right?
so just a question, I have to assume 43 and 45 have rights to use the back of the property if you get into the need for additional parking or locating a dumpster in a safe place.
They do.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll try to coalesce. So with that, I know there's, sounds like a stop at Architectural Review Committee, the zoning board for a special permit. Probably challenging, Raul, to talk to the water department to talk about cross connection. I think the biggest thing I'm hearing is around impervious surface and no deck cover. We do have a set of elevations kind of showing the pergola is open without a roof cover. So with that, if those are the plans you want to intend to go forward, it doesn't sound like there's much driving the need for a more formal plan, perhaps a motion to accept the filing as, accept the filing in lieu of a formal plan, something like that. Obviously, if you add roof cover, you're probably coming back here, you're going to drive stormwater and cover on the lot. That might even affect your zoning board application as well, so. It sounds like I'm hearing commitment to just the pergola cover and
It is, yeah, the
umbrellas or
proposal
shade.
right now is just the pergola.
Yeah, so whether it's shade or umbrella, shade cloth or umbrella or whatever is typical to satisfy Board of Health, you're not probably coming back here.
Do we ask how many seats in the restaurant?
I don't,
So I could address that. So what we're proposing for is 100 seats. I know that the layout that was submitted doesn't show what 100 seat, but 100 seat is the number that we're going for this afternoon's presentation before the Water and Sewer Commission.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up on that? And
Sure.
Will you be clear that you're not proposing to cover the inspection port at that meeting? Because is that shown on the plan, Raul, the inspection port? I know,
So you have to really look into the as-built that was submitted when the septic system was installed. But the intent is that once we define the final footprint of this deck, which will not exceed 14.5 by 30, and we have the layout for the stringers, we set aside those kind of trap doors that the decking from the floor can be lifted to reach those specific locations. There are 4 access points that we need to have access from this decking, and they all have to do with the sewer.
And yeah, I have to believe the inspection port's at the 90 in your sewer line shown on the plan, or somewhere near that.
Right, there's 2 cleanouts. There is a check valve, and there is I believe another cleanout coming into the grease tank.
So with the, I mean, that's acceptable to be accessed through a deck if they build in?
Yeah, I think it's just that the risk of, you know, the owner, if there is an issue, you now have a deck that you need to remove to, you know, address the issue.
Yeah. So with this, the Calvin just handed me, Raul, I think they're clearly under the proposed deck. So it's something to consider. I guess question two to you, Davis. I think when you get your building permit, you'll get a cross-section showing the footing depths of the sonotubes that'll satisfy
Right.
your comment?
Yeah, we'll just ask for verification from the field. It's something that's not in the code. That is to say, how specifically you determine what that depth is without doing too much destructive excavation. But hopefully it's an experienced installer excavator who knows when it's time to shut the machine off and take out the shovel, put it that way. But I would like that listed as a requirement for sure.
It sounds like, Raul, you'll have that challenge at permitting to
Right.
understand the depth.
And we do have a pretty good as-built of this system, and we know, being also myself present doing inspections, this is the only utility in this side of the building. There was no other crossings that we have to deal with, but we do have the locations of all these sewer lines, and all the inspection are to surface, so we actually have the correct location for all of this.
Good, and I have one last question that I've thought of it. Perhaps be a good idea to have a conversation with plumbing inspector, just to check in the plumbing code specifically with regard to access to the inspection ports for the grease tank. I don't know that there's nothing in my head, off the top of my head about it, but I'd just like to make sure that somebody checks the plumbing code and has a conversation as necessary.
Got it.
All right, thanks, Raul.
Okay, well, with it, it sounds like all that will get picked up through the building permit application in terms of the access through the deck. And,
Right. Right.
So I still think might be acceptable to accept a motion to waive the formal or accept these plans as formal. They are fairly formal in nature.
Indeed. I'll make that motion with the notes that we've brought forward. I'll make the motion to accept these plans based on today's informal site plan review.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second, and those notes are, we can make sure those notes are covered in the comment sheet in terms of their further permitting path with CBA and special permit and ARC. But the notes, you think we should put in the motion, those notes about sewer clean-out access and depth of footings, not,
I mean, technically, those are code issues.
yeah, I
They're
think,
not under our purview, so I think it's okay to go forward. I mean, I'm confident, based on the conversations that we've had today, that those issues will be addressed at the appropriate time.
all right, thank you, Davis. So motion and a second, and I guess we'll do a vote, all in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
With that, I think we'll allow you to go on down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raul.
And Raul, we do pass around a comment sheet, and we'll get that either to you, Todd, or Ben at the, when it's filled out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Committee, we do have one other item of business. We are to review and approve the minutes of Wednesday, May 6th. Hopefully, if everyone's read them and someone wishes to make a motion.
So moved.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Karen, for the minutes. And with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Davis, so moved.
Second.
Calvin with the second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.